My name is Beto Conejo, and my business is West Temple Media. So I was born in Guanajuato, Mexico. We came over, we landed here in South Salt Lake, Utah. This is where I consider home. So if you were to ask me that, just without, I guess, like the international concept, then I would say I'm from South Salt Lake, Utah. So I had already been kind of thinking about what kind of business I would want if I did have one. This was before the mill. I was just kind of always an entrepreneur, like I mentioned earlier. I didn't know anything about the structure. I had never taken a business class before I stepped into that course. Just because it didn't have a prerequisite, I felt confident. I was like, all right, we'll start from the basics. Once we started learning about like the business model and how to structure it in there, like pretty much on the first day, I started like just threading the needle through like, I guess, all of these things in my life that were already established for me to be able to like make the bigger picture. So I think about it kind of like a quilt, right? You have all these little squares or whatever that you want to be part of the bigger picture, and then the mill kind of just like showed you how to sew, and I just started like sewing it together throughout the course. And once I started to see the bigger picture actually could work together, right, I was like, oh man, like I think this is it right here. I made a media company that would allow me to pretty much fulfill my artistic passions and dreams, right? So my dream is to be an artist, not like a business owner, but if you can't sell art, then you know what I mean? You're not gonna make a whole lot of money off of your art. There's three streams of revenue or income, my business model. So the first one is art. That's like the first and foremost, right? That's what drives everything and where I got most of my capital from. So the second pillar of my business, I would consider it to be the merchandise. And the last one is media. I guess people online, as far as like YouTube, Instagram, any kind of like information that I'm intaking, I always notice that I'm like, it's always on the phone. It's like always an ad or it's always something on the phone. Like if you're not marketing yourself well enough, no matter how good you are, like people aren't gonna find you. Playing with that concept, and I would see people making some photorealistic drawings and like paintings, a small following relatively compared to like other people that made art. There's people that make super quick art that's 15-second videos, and it would just take them a super long way. I realized that like you just got to market yourself. So we implemented like the media side so we can buy some technology, be able to market ourselves differently and more prominently than other people have done. My family landed on the street called West Temple, which I named my company after, West Temple Media. Those areas are where you'd see like a lot of like drug influence, lots of violence and whatnot. Yeah, just like over time, I would just see a lot of activity there, lots of drug deals, lots of raids. That's kind of why I wanted to like name the company itself after it, just because it's more of a state of mind that I realized, and more of a lifestyle than it is just a location where I'm at. And I wanted to continue that and continue to show that in my art, which is one of the big reasons of why I chose not just the name, but the art. I think the aha moment for me was when I walked into that classroom. I think it was literally the first day. Everybody say something about yourself, something you like to do. This is the silver, and so on and so forth, right? Which there was less of that and more of like, what is your passion? Which is what drives me, when it drives entrepreneurs, right? It's what is your passion? It wasn't just a talk about it type of situation. It was now that you know, now thanks to you knowing, literally on the first day, here's a piece of paper, let's get to work. Like, this is what a business model is, this is how it works. Throughout this class, we're gonna get you one. And then we started making it from day one. And each class, I'd come in and like, I knew I was gonna work on it then. So it didn't even feel like a class, it just felt like I was where I was supposed to be, It definitely made me feel like I was taking action on my life and not just thinking about what it was gonna be in the future, and trying to like think to myself, how am I gonna connect this to my degree or my life in the future? It was like, this is in the now, you're doing it now. A matter of you coming in here, building your business model, and you're working on something that you know how it's gonna work in the future, right in the moment, right now, versus doing it in the future and trying to connect that and be like, how is this gonna, how am I gonna make this connect to my thing? Action now, setting up the action for later as well. Alright, so yeah, like as far as people who are thinking about going to the mill, it has a lot of benefits. As far as the media side of my company, just one day I was just going to the mill on the 3rd floor, hopped in the elevator. I like being by myself, so I contemplated just waiting till like this guy like went up, and then the elevator came back down. But I was like, I gotta get out of my comfort zone, it's business, like let's get in here. Elevator pitch in the elevator just to practice. Next thing you know, I have a contract that I signed with them to pretty much try and get their social media running so that eventually we can work towards a deal so we can do their social media marketing for them. So whether you're looking for like internships, making your own business, making connections, looking for just a space to work, like they have it. So yeah, I definitely recommend checking out the mill and like using it if you haven't already.